This last week has been troublesome for me, to say the least, and I'm not a victim in any way because I know that there are people that are suffering a lot more than I am right now, and I want to be part of the healing process. But I've been doing a lot of analysis of myself, just self-analysis, the world, humanity, and thinking like, I look around me and I see evil, and I see chaos, and I see good, and I see order, and I start thinking. I think that what happens is, in terms of like good and evil, you've got a scale. This is like the Dungeons and Dragons alignment. I like this metaphor. Good is 100, evil's 0. And you're somewhere on that scale. You got a number. Same with law and chaos. And you've got these two scales, and you're somewhere on that scale, semi-permanently. Like this is your current today alignment. I hope to think that I'm like a 72, 77, lawful good. I don't know. But you can do things that change your alignment. What you do daily changes your alignment. And it's essentially how aligned are you with the rest of the human condition? Like there are things that you could do that would make your alignment drop to 0. Evil, like murder. Because it's so malaligned with what it means like to be a human, that taking that away, like war, we understand a killing in a war is not, society understands that that's part of the war, and so it doesn't drop your alignment to evil. Like it doesn't misalign you with humanity. It's still, you might consider it an evil act that produces order. So what happens is doing things that are like, you might have a 80 goodness alignment, but if you do something evil, it will drop your alignment by like 5 points, 10 points, if it's not one of those mortal sins. But it could drop your alignment, like a fascist crackdown, drop your alignment by like 7 or whatever, 15. But it could create a lot of order. It could raise the alignment of your own life or the system. You want to talk about fascist crackdown in your own life, fascist crackdown in the system. It's both. This metaphor functions both personally and systemically. And it's the same thing with chaos. You can use bursts of chaos to produce good. And the key, I think the point is to not fall into permanent evil or chaos. And so I see like a lot of government force right now relative to what I'm used to and they're overtly like the FCC chair saying Jimmy Kimmel's name and then being like, we could do this the easy way or the hard way. And then a bunch of affiliates pull the show and Kimmel's let go like that day. That's evil, in my opinion. And it's not objective evil. It's how how the action aligns with the rest of humanity, of society, whatever you want to call it. And people view that as an evil act that produces order. I think generally there's some, like it was the same with like the government controlling the media, produced a massive amount of order, but it was evil. Like lying to get us into war, you would consider that evil, but it does produce order. And it can be the same with chaos, obviously you've got your freedom fighters, people fighting against whatever, this, that. And like, instead of thinking, oh, I'm good, I'm lawful good, I would never do evil, everything I'm doing is good. No, sometimes what you do is evil, and with the intent to produce more order, because you cannot fall into permanent chaos. And you have to atone for those evil things you do. You have to do things that raise your alignment back up or up, that do good and create order. You have to do things that raise your alignment towards order. Like in this country anyway, property right, buying a house, exercising your free speech, criticizing the government or people in the government if you see them acting out, that raises the order. Training with a firearm so that you can defend your environment, your family, your friends from wildlife and tyrannical governments and all that. It raises order. Exercising your rights seems to raise order. I look at myself more as a machine than anything else. Like a machine capable of doing horrible evil and chaotic good. I don't know why I was going to say that, but just chaos, just pure chaos. I can induce so much chaos into the system if I chose. And sometimes I'll have a little fun with it. They culture jamming, I think they say, a little bit of chaos to produce a good, maybe makes people see themselves as what goofy idiots we were. even though it didn't make sense, and you might mislead people to get them to see something circuitously. But the real, like, as murder would drop you to zero evil, just purely evil. Blowing up infrastructure would drop you to zero chaos, and you would lose. So there are acts you can do that produce chaos in the short term, that make you more chaotic, that can keep things good or help maintain the good. And neutrality. We don't need to be obsessively lawful good. It can be neutral as well, but there's that variance between good and neutral, because it's like good, neutral, and evil, and lawful, neutral, and chaotic. If you don't know, if you're a D&D player, then this is old news to you. I think, though, for the future, it's important that we are realistic with ourselves about what we are and what we're doing. And always remember, it's not so much about the objective nature of the behavior, although some things all of humanity can kind of get behind are evil, good, chaotic, orderly, but just how it is aligning with the perception of humanity at the time. That's really what matters when it comes to alignment shifting. And I guess you do have a personal alignment that's between you and God. If you've done, you know what you do.